right, so my name is Marcus Trice, and I'm here doing a video. I prefer to do videos for some of these assignments, kind of put a face with it. And I'm doing a video for Mr. Lin for FTT 2316172, machining and manufacturing of firearms. So we have an assignment here, and for this assignment you're creating a standard operating procedure, which is SOP. And I've actually created quite a few SOPs in the past. So there's a couple of categories here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 categories. And let's just start off with personal safety. So personal safety, just what it says, personal safety. So with that in mind, everybody is responsible for their own personal safety. Meaning that A is going to be safety equipment that you're going to have to wear. There's going to have to be a certain mentality, maturity when it comes down to working around heavy equipment. That would be part of an SOP. Also things like what to do in the event of an injury. So that would also probably be in that particular chapter of the SOP. And what's interesting is that each SOP that would be in that particular book, there's a standard set, but there'll always be add-ons due to somebody making a mistake. So you'll have extra SOPs for those unpredicted issues that come up. Machine training. And machine training is interesting because I think that, and I think I mentioned in my discussion, so machine training, if you're not trained, you're not allowed to get anywhere near that equipment. So I have a zone, like yellow tape on the floor, that if you're not trained on that piece of equipment, you can't go in that zone. And I think that's pretty important. I think that with any organization, there should be training, there should be yearly training, and there should be safety reminders. So that's part of training too. So there would be a section of the SOP that has procedures for training. The next one is holding and adjustments. Now, I'm not too sure what holding and adjustments means for this particular SOP, but I'm assuming that holding the work and then making incremental adjustments on that work. So with the SOP for that, depending on what the machine is and depending on what the material is, there would probably be an SOP for each type of material, each type of machinery. So if you're using a drill press and you're using some sort of a jig that moves in some sort of fashion, you would probably want to write basically how to move it and where not to have your hands when you're holding something with that equipment. Next one is shop layout, and I think that you would have an SOP on the shop layout, but you also probably would have the layout illustrated and mounted somewhere so that people could see it. They would know where the different pieces of equipment are. They would know a workflow. So you would have how to walk in and out of this building. So you would have egress and coming in. You would also have where the safety equipment is located. So you would, depending on what you're working with, but yes, you would probably have an eye wash or maybe a first aid kit of some sort, maybe even an AED. So yes, you would definitely want to have a shop layout. Oh, and I kind of went over moving materials. That's a huge one. I think, and I've dealt with a lot of work-related injuries from different places I've worked where people have injured themselves, and it's usually from moving heavy stuff or not moving it correctly. So you would probably want to have how to move heavy items, how to move bulky items, and the equipment that you would need to move it, maybe obviously like maybe a back brace. In the moving industry, they have, when they're moving like safes, refrigerators, they actually have these harnesses that you have to wear. So if you're moving something that heavy or that big in this particular shop, then you would have to have a carrying harness. Let's see, lighting, huge. I think that you would have an SOP directing one particular person to go around on a weekly basis checking the lighting. Sounds silly, but these fluorescent lights that we're under right now, they go out. And you want to make sure that you have adequate lighting, especially when you're working around machines. So in that SOP, it would be checking the lights, replacing the lights, maintaining a certain number of lights, and when they go on and when they go off. Cleanliness, huge, huge, huge. Somebody, in the SOP, it would probably state something like at a particular time of the day, somebody would be responsible for different cleaning parts of the shop. So maybe you'd have somebody that is sweeping. Sounds silly, but yes, sweeping. Then you would have another person that's responsible for checking all the tools, making sure all the tools are away. Then you have maybe another person coming around and checking the machines, making sure they're clean too. And that actually probably goes into the dust and chip collection. You would obviously have some sort of procedure for collecting dust and removing the chips, especially around the actual machines. You'd probably have some sort of ventilation system. You would probably have a collecting system for the chips. But somebody would have to be responsible for going around and collecting that debris and cleaning it. So you would delegate to different employees different tasks, and it would be written in the SOPs. So hopefully this is a kind of a condensed version. I know that the videos can get kind of long, so I just wanted to hit on each point in this assignment. Thank you.